in our lives, it is very essential. So today's conversation is critical, and I love to welcome all of you. Thank you very much. Now, we will go right into the program. I would want to invite here on stage a great woman, Fatu Haidara, who is the Deputy Director General of UNIDO. She is going to give us a brief overview of the ACT program, which is about the transformation of coffee when it comes to Africa. As we know, Africa is the now, and it is the future of opportunities. So, shall we warmly welcome Fatu Haidara to the stage? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I'm standing here on behalf of the Director General of UNIDO, who could not make it because of conflicting schedule. I'm happy and honored to be representing him. At UNIDO, we say that one of the best ways to create better livelihoods and better perspective for the future in developing countries is to create more value added locally in supply chains. Almost all of us drink coffee. Actually, this is the first thing of my daily routine, a coffee to start the day. It's a simple and central part of our lives, and we never think what it means. The coffee industry is the economic basis for over 125 million people worldwide. Coffee is one of the world's most important cash crops. It supports over 12.5 million farms globally. The huge majority of them are smallholder farmers. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, improving the global coffee value chain has huge potential to create better livelihoods, for sustainable industrialization, for regional and global trade, and for climate policies. That is why I'm very proud of UNIDO's new Advancing Climate Resilience and Transformation in African Coffee program. We launched it together with Italy earlier this year as a flagship initiative of the Italian Mattei Plan. Together, we build partnerships with African countries to support more local value addition and sustainability. Through it, we drive investment in local processing, into improving farmer incomes, infrastructure, and skills development. At this point, I just realized that there is, if you give me 1 second, I see that one of the slide is missing. I'm sorry. Actually, what is important to note here is the strong partnerships with Italy, and also the holistic approach that we have at UNIDO in supporting the global value chains of in this case, coffee. We started at the policy level supporting the developing countries, but to also do provide capacity building to the institutions. I heard this morning about public and private partnerships. It is crucial. One cannot do without the other one. For a long time, the idea was that the private sector can do all. That was the time of the Washington Consensus. And then we realized that not only governments can drive development. It takes partnership with private sector, because we talk about investment, we talk about technology transfer. This can be done only with a strong partnership with private sector. And at UNIDO, this is our approach. I'm sorry that I could not convey this part from DG's statement because it's coming from him, but I'm sure he shared what I just mentioned to you. We are very grateful to the Italian partners for the great cooperation. Actually, in my capacity as a deputy, I'm the one responsible for signing and reporting to governments. Almost every week I have something to report to Italy. That shows the great cooperation and the strong support that we receive from the government of Italy, and we are very grateful. To summarize, we can say that coffee is a cornerstone of the world economy. But it should be fair and it should be sustainable. And this is what we are working for at UNIDO, and we are very happy to be part of this discussion. We remain committed to support the implementation of the Mattei plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Fatou. The Advancing Climate Resilience and Transformation in Africa Coffee Program has got very extensive impact for Africa. And Italy plays a very major role in it, and we're grateful, as highlighted by Fatou. This morning, we're joined by Her Excellency Jessica Alupo, who is the Vice President of Uganda, who is going to give us a brief overview on the impact of the ACT program on Uganda. Let's welcome the Vice President.
Your Excellency, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Uganda is proud to be Africa's largest coffee exporter and among the top 10 coffee exporters worldwide. Coffee is more than just a commodity for us. It is a lifeline for farmers, a key driver of our economy, and a symbol of our heritage. Today, 36% of Uganda's coffee exporters go to Italy, making it our largest trading partner in this sector. This partnership has been mutually beneficial, and we look forward to strengthening it further. Excellencies, one of the most exciting developments in this collaboration is the planned coffee training center in Kampala, part of the broader Kampala Coffee Hub. This initiative will serve as a national platform for value addition, quality enhancement, and competitiveness, equipping farmers, processors, and entrepreneurs with skills to unlock Uganda's full potential in coffee. We also greatly appreciate Italy's support in enabling Uganda to access the Italian Climate Fund. With the strong support of UNIDO, Uganda has requested 132 million euros for climate adaptation in adaptation in coffee, of which a consequential loan of 120 million euros has already been approved. This facility will help smallholder farmers and value chain across investors in climate resilient practices, ensuring long-term sustainability of our coffee sector. At this point, I would like to recognize the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, for their excellent groundwork in Uganda. UNIDO has been a trusted partner, and their support through the ACT Coffee programs sponsored by Italy is the first concrete response to the Kampala Declaration on Coffee 2023. This program comes at the right moment, especially considering the recent Dar es Salaam Declaration, which reinforced the importance of regional cooperation and value addition in African coffee. The government of Uganda places the highest priority on value addition, as reflected in our coffee roadmap. Despite our position as a top exporter, most of our coffee is still exported raw. It is therefore our strategic focus to expand processing, branding, and our global market presence. This aligns with His Excellency, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's ambition of exporting 20 million bags by 2030. Achieving this will require collective action from all farmers, investors, development partners, and the private sector. As we move forward, we look to Italy and UNIDO not only as trading partners, but also as allies in elevating Uganda's coffee to new heights. We welcome continued investment in processing, market linkages, and climate adaptation, and I can confirm that Uganda will support the tabling of the proposed UN General Assembly resolution on global coffee value chains. Together, we can ensure that Uganda's coffee is not only recognized for its quantity, but also for its premium quality and unique flavors that stand out on the world stage. Finally, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Italian government, our Italian coffee partners, and UNIDO for their continued collaboration and support. Let us work together to create a future where Uganda's coffee industry flourishes, bringing prosperity to all our farmers, our businesses, and our nation. I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Italy keeps coming up because the ACT program is very relevant and essential for the future of the coffee industry. And to help us, gain more insights into the ACT program, with a special focus on the Piano Mattei initiative by the Italian government that has a lot of misconceptions around it. Today we're going to learn more and gain clarity on it. Therefore, please help me welcome the Italian Vice Minister, Edmondo Cirielli.
Excellencies, dear colleagues, friends, good morning, everyone. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here today at this event, and I warmly thank UNIDO for the kind invitation. Coffee is much more than a beverage. It's a global system that sustains the livelihoods of over 125 million people worldwide. In Africa, the coffee value chain is a crucial source of employment, fiscal revenue, and rural development, making up 12% of global production. Yet, the sector is a turning point. climate change, price volatility, and regulatory pressure threaten economic and social sustainability. No single government or actor can face these challenges alone. We need a truly global, integrated and partnership-based approach. Coffee is a part of Italy's culture and identity, of course, and we are among the world's top exporters of roasted coffee. For years, Italian companies such as Illy, which is present today, have developed training projects in African producing countries. These initiatives show how cooperation between institutions, business and local communities generates shared benefits. In line with this vision, Italy's Mattei Plan for Africa prioritizes equal and lasting partnership with African countries. Therefore, Italy strongly supports the Act of Coffee program, one of the most ambitious initiatives to strengthen coffee value chains. One of the most innovative elements of this initiative is the creation of coffee training centers, hubs of knowledge, training and innovation. Through the Italian Climate Fund, we are assessing a proposal for a loan up to 145 million euros to the Ethiopian government and one up to 120 million euros to the Ugandan government. Today's meeting is also an opportunity to announce Italy's support for the UN General Assembly resolution on the global sustainable coffee value chain. Italy is ready to put its experience at the service of more sustainable and inclusive coffee value chain, benefit millions of producers and consumers around the world. So once again, thank you all for being here. I wish you a very productive session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vice Minister. We are at a very important part for me personally, because I breathe women, I dream women. Women are right at the center of my heart in all I do, and for the last 18 years I've been empowering women. And for Women in Sustainability Africa, we believe that women must be at the forefront when it comes to closing up and accelerating the achievement of the SDG goals. Now, as our next speaker comes, I do hope to hear something great for what is going to happen for women in coffee farming. Women are in Africa, women, especially in Ghana, which is the similar ratios or numbers across Africa, women contribute to about 70% of the informal sector. Yeah, and that informal sector contributes to 70% of our African economy. And yet, women are the least rewarded in the value chain. So, what are some of the initiatives that we're doing to make sure that women are winning in the space that we're contributing to? So, there is a lot of responsibility that I have placed on our next speaker, who is going to deliver to us an opening statement focusing on the challenges and opportunities to further advance an inclusive, sustainable coffee value chain in Africa and globally. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished and honorable men and women, please help me welcome Mr. Andrea Illy.
Thank you so much. Good morning. So it has been 10 years now since we announced in Milan that 50% of the suitable land for coffee agriculture will be gone as a consequence of climate change. So since then, we have seen an exponential increase both in frequency and intensity of weather events compromising productivity globally. Last year, 2 droughts in the 2 leading countries. First, Vietnam. Second, in Brazil, which is the leading one. Two droughts compromised this year's crop. As a consequence, having the coffee prices ballooning and jeopardizing the international coffee supply chain. During these 10 years, also, in parallel, there has been a substantial mobilization for readiness. The most relevant initiative last year, two initiatives by the Italian government. The already mentioned Piano Mattei, with the Act Plan for Africa, but also the launch under the Italian presidency by the G7 of a public-private partnership for mobilizing impact finance directly in the coffee plantation in order to build resilience. So the situation now is that on one side we see meteorological events hammering coffee plantation, the most critical being heat waves, which typically come along with the drought. Heat waves are dangerous because they can perpetually compromise suitability of certain coffee-producing areas. We already know, and we are entering in this very, let me say, volatile situation, that things are going to continue exponentially. Why that? Because the Earth lost its resilience to absorb the environmental and climate shocks. And therefore, in addition to suitability loss, you have a problem of climate emergencies, situations, factors, phenomena which are unknown, unpredictable. You don't know what they are. You don't know when they come. You don't know what's the impact. I give you an example. Last year, the global sea surface temperature did increase as much in 1 year as the last 10 years. Climatologists still didn't figure out why. Another example, the Amazonian forest, which is so important for South American agriculture, is turning from a net sequestrator of carbon into a net emitter as a consequence of ecosystems degradation. And with that, the so-called green water is drying up, and therefore these are impact on agriculture that we cannot predict. So therefore we need to accelerate as much as possible adaptation, and not only, we also need to have resilience, capacity building, in order to be capable of manage emergent situation. In order to build resilience, we need to create reserves. We need to have input reserve. We need to irrigate more. We need to create stocks. We need to have preparedness initiatives. Growers, on their side, they are not ready, because there are, as said, 12.5 million micro-growers with less than 1 hectare each. Half of them officially living below the threshold of poverty with less than $7.50 per year, per day. They receive more or less 5% of the global value chain. Price volatility is another problem for accessing to finance. Therefore, they cannot invest in adaptation. And therefore, there is a problem with finance because the sector is severely underfinanced. The best educated guess is that we invest less than $500 million per year for adaptation plans. And we would need at least half every year in the next 10, 15 years. Finance is a problem of business modeling, of mobilization, of resource allocation, is not a problem of returns, because most of the actions required deliver an incredible returns. I give you an example. 50%, this is the educated guess, of the plantations in the world are over 15 years old. And this is definitely too old. It reduces productivity, it reduces resilience. Investing for replacing, renewing this plantation with new plants and selected with better varieties has an enormous investment on one side, but an enormous returns, because at least 30 to 50% productivity increase only by plant renovation. Irrigating, and the educated guess is that from less than 10% irrigated plantation in the world now, we shall have 1/3 of them. This is another big chunk of investment, but with enormous returns, because by irrigating, you increase productivity between 40 to 60%. So the problem in the adaptation plan that we need now, we need to execute this public-private partnership which has been launched, and I think we are in the process of doing so. This adaptation plan needs to have a route to market. And the route to market needs to access to these 12.5 million micro-growers responsible for 70% of the world coffee production. The remaining 30% is produced by medium-large grower from 50 hectares up, mostly in Brazil, which is by far the leading country. So, in order to reach these small growers, the only access is to cooperatives and traders working together. So we think that the priority number one is to first have a roadmap with a heat wave where we clearly identify the priority countries by initiative and by budget, so that we can then mobilize the partners of the PPP to finance a specific initiative. This roadmap is going to be made by the end of the year, and we strongly believe that the very first action to be made is a so-called capacity building, to prepare at least a few hundreds of these cooperatives to receive not only the knowledge, to put them in the condition to deliver extension services to micro-growers, but also to receive the money, which can be, of course, ensured by the development banks and other institutions. So thank you very much. I repeat my greatest gratitude to the Italian government, which took the initiative to lead that with these two flagship projects, and I'm very grateful to be here at United Nations talking about this very high priority debate, because I think that coffee can be not only a solved problem, but also a forerunner for many other crops with similar initiatives. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Distinguished guests, it is time for us to dive into a 1-minute video about the ACT program. So if the video is ready, please, let's have it.
Is an enormous
Okay, that was a tricky one. So please, let's welcome Vanusia Nogueira, the Executive Director of the International Coffee Association. Also to join me here is Solomon Sabiti Rutega, the Secretary General of the Inter-African Coffee Organization. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't want to compete with the video.
I know, right? It's been an exciting day with this coffee dialogue, looking at the sustainability of the coffee industry. And I will start with you. They say the ladies are first, isn't it?
Yes.
So I'll start with Vanusia. The global demand for coffee, it keeps rising. Yet the sector faces persistent price volatility and growing climate risk, as have been shared in the speeches that we've heard here today. So, from your perspective, leaders in the coffee industry and the coffee supply chain, what should they prioritize to ensure sustainable growth for the industry?
Okay. First of all, thanks for inviting me, and thanks for having you here with us.
Thank you.
As I realized that you are a coffee lover, and this is very important for us.
Yes.
And I come from a coffee producing country.
Okay.
I'm Brazilian. I'm part of a fifth generation of a coffee producing family.
Okay.
So I used to be a coffee producer as well. And in Brazil, we always get in love with coffee since we are kids.
Okay.
And this is something that I already share with my colleague here, my partner, Solomon, sometimes that it's one of the secrets to increase the consumption worldwide. It's when we start to teach our kids how to take coffee. They can start with coffee with milk, and then when they are adults, they can come to the brewer and the coffees alone, the black coffees, as we say here in US. So now I'm in charge of the International Coffee Organization, that it's an intergovernmental organization taking care of coffee worldwide. We are an organization that was created here in this building more than 60 years ago, and we are on that together with all the leaders that spoke before me. I would like to echo the points that we already listened today about the partnership between private and public sectors. As you said, we have at this moment a consumption. It's the highest consumption ever. We are producing many coffees, but we are very well balanced between supply and demand. And we need to look for the future. We need to look for the new generations that will be consumers and also will be producers if the life is good for them.
Okay.
We need to look for profitability for them. Otherwise, they will not be happy.
Yeah.
Yes, they will not be happy to produce coffee. So for having this, we need to look for resilience. We need to look for the issues we have right now regarding to climate change. And for having that, we need to start having funding for that, to have the resilience fund that we are working together to have it. And the first step, I agreed with Mr. Andrea Ili that we need to start with the capacity building for the cooperatives, mainly in the countries that we have a huge number of small producers. They need to work together, as we are talking this week everywhere here in this building. Better together.
Yeah.
We need to be together because this will be the way that we can face this challenge and we can look for solutions in a better way. We already have many small solutions, small pilots everywhere. But now we need to be together to scale the solutions and to really make the difference.
Very important point you make there. Standing together, we multiply and keep our numbers in exponents. Exactly. You know, that's the only way we can stand. And also, very important key takeaway for what you have just shared is that if we are going to make the industry beneficial to our farmers, our growers, then they are going to do more of it. And we see this especially in countries like Ghana, where there's a competition with cocoa.
Yes.
So if cocoa is going to do better for me, then I'm going to do that. Or if plantain is going to do better for me, then I'm going to do that. So to sustain the supply, and the growth. We need to look at that. Thank you for that addition. So, Solomon, as director for the Inter-African Coffee Organization, Africa is key to the coffee trade. Now, there's been a lot of partnerships in the past, and as we've heard today, the ACT program, right at the center of it, is partnerships. Would you care to share with us some of the key partnerships that have strengthened the coffee trade in Africa? And also add to it, whilst you're at that, what are some of the opportunities that we can look at for growth?
Thank you, Nana, and also thank you for the invitation. And this is a beautiful place.
Yeah,
thanks
yes.
for the invitation here. I'm also happy that you also drink 3 cups a day.
Yes.
That's higher per capita. In Africa, it's still below 1 kilo. So I'm happy that at least you're one of the few Africans.
Yes, thank you.
Helping increase.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
So, back to partnerships. The biggest partnership for Africa right now is the political partnership. The heads of state are now plugged into the coffee agenda. That has been huge for IACO.
Right.
First of all, for those who don't know IACO, we represent 25 coffee-producing countries in the whole of Africa. And we bring all the African leaders together through the Ministries of Agriculture, the Ministry of Commerce, to have this sort of dialogue on how we can solve some of the prevailing challenges. So the political buy-in has been very, very key in our partnership. In 2022, President Uhuru Kenyatta hosted the first G25 Heads of State Summit, where they brought all the African leaders to have this conversation on coffee. And then the following year, it was President Museveni who's been a champion on this value addition agenda. And then this year, we had one in Tanzania hosted by President Samia Suluhu. So the political partnership, getting them to buy into the transformation of coffee through value addition, has been one of the biggest, I would say, success in terms of getting IACO's visibility, getting the coffee thing discussed about. Climate change has brought this partnership together. Now, following the G25 meeting, the G7, through ICO, Venusia was part of it with the European Union, and the Italian government, had also the coffee identified as a strategic crop. Yeah, and also to get it on the agenda. The second partnership is the private sector partnership. Yeah, we have managed to bring in the private sector partnership in our governing structure of the Inter-Africa Coffee Organization, where we bring in the Africa Fine Coffee Association that represents exporters, banks, insurance companies. The platform is done every year through the Africa Coffee Week, which is hosted in Addis. Will be hosted in Addis next year. I will invite the International Coffee Organization, UNIDO.
And I'll be there.
Yes, I hope. So the private sector partnership has also been very key in all this. And then finally, the ACT program through UNIDO. This has also been very, very key in bringing the development partners to see how we can mobilize resources and also get technical support for the ladies. I wanted to inform you we're doing something with women in coffee.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Can we clap for Solomon?
Yes. So,
Yay! You did it for us.
So in Feb, we're going to have a session where we bring all the women players in the coffee industry. And they'll have this discussion on how we can help them. We're helping a lady, a university student in Abidjan, to open a little coffee kiosk on campus. So we're beginning to see a lot of coffee kiosks on universities in Africa. I mean, University of Kenyatta, Nairobi University. So these coffee kiosks are being managed by women, female students. So that's another initiative we're taking to support them. We've also set up a school, a training institute, to train baristas, roasters, and also young people in sensory analysis. So those are some of the partnerships that we have built in the last 4 years.
Thank you. This is insightful. Thank you for that. Working with African governments directly and bringing them together so that they prioritize coffee. Coffee, per my research, happens to be one of the most resilient crops. So if we prioritize it, it goes a long way to... it also promotes afforestation, because one plant can keep bearing for years. So it must be given the needed attention. And exciting to know that what you're doing with women and getting more women involved. We need to lift women up and out, of where they are. And my final question that I would bring up to you, we're looking at, what we know is that subsistence farmers are a lot when it comes to the coffee trade. Most of them are smallholder farmers. Under the ACT program, through the resolutions that have been made, I want to hear from each of you what you believe the impact is going to be on the way forward in the future of the coffee industry. I think I'll start with Solomon.
Yeah, thank you. The reason we're actually here is because of the ACT program. This is the first time we're having this sort of dialogue, I think, at the UN. And you talked about the resolution, I think, that will be proposed for the global coffee value chain. So the ACT program has 5 pillars that it's anchored on. The first one is on the climate pillar, the climate resilient agriculture, where we work very closely on how we can get the farmers to, the varieties to be developed through our research institutes. This is an area that's going to be covered under the ACT program, and it's also aligned with the IACO strategic objectives. The second one is on the value addition. This is huge. We want Africans to start drinking coffee, and to propagate a coffee drinking culture, you need to set up an infrastructure for value addition, which is like actually non-existent. Most African countries don't have those factories. Yeah, so we need to focus on that. The ACT program looks at it. We've already set up a center for excellence, a training center, one of the best in Addis Ababa, with the support of UNIDO and the Ethiopian government, and that has been very successful. They are having over 2,000 students, signing up, young people trying to train on, coffee skills, roasting, and the sensory. That's another second pillar. The third one is on the compliance. There's the EUDR regulation, which is in place.
Yes, the new one.
You've heard of that. So we're trying to come up with standards that are compliant within the EU for coffee to be exported to the European Union. So we're working with the Africa Standard Organization under the AU framework. We've come up with a coffee sustainability standard, which is also aligned with the EUDR. So that will be another pillar that will be under the ACT program. And then there's the other research and development pillar on the issue of circular economy. And this is a company in Italy called Lavazza, which is very close to Ely. They have a circular economy where they're going to use alternative uses for waste, coffee waste. Out of 1,000 kilos of coffee, 80% of it remains as biomass waste. So there are alternative uses for coffee, not only drinking it. You can make it in the oil, soaps.
I've seen ornaments being made in Ghana out of coffee.
Exactly. Yes. So there's another market in that alternative uses. So that's another area under the ACT program. And then of course they have the social pillar, empowering women, which is also part of the SDG number 5, on how we can get these vulnerable groups like women and youth in terms of them being included in the coffee value chain. So this also aligns with the IACO strategy. We're training youth in barista skills. There's a taste of harvest where we try to get them to produce very good coffee. So the whole ACT program is aligned with the African Union Agenda 2063 and also the Inter-Africa Coffee Organization strategy. So that's where we have this partnership together. So it's working very well.
Thank you for this insight. And indeed, Africa presents a great opportunity for the growth and the future of coffee. With 70% of its people in the next few years, Africa has the youth, has the young people. And as we can see, the biggest growth is coming from the youth, young people taking coffee now. So indeed, Africa is a place to look at. And involving the young people on campuses, all of that is very good. So that attention is gone there or goes there. This is exciting news. Thank you.
And Africa is also the origin of coffee.
Yes.
That's another. So there's the tourism. So there's also the tourism side
of coffee.
Where people who want to see the origin of coffee can come and visit Ethiopia for Arabica and Uganda for Robusta.
And another exciting part for me is the infrastructure bit you mentioned.
Yes.
That is one thing that Africa needs to employ as young people. We have a lot of young people. We need to take them from the streets. We need to take them from doing anything illegal by gainfully employing them. And that begins with production. So production and the consumption, a lot of it's happening in Africa, would be helpful. Of course, we'll keep exporting some, but increasing the production capacity of Africa is very key. So I'm excited, and I believe we are all excited to know that the ACTS program is truly, truly looking at this. Thank you very much for sharing this, Solomon. Okay. Yes, Vanessa. So we'll take our final comments from Vanessa.
Yes. I go to another perspective of that. We, as the ICO, we are partner of the ACT program. We are together on that. And it's very important, and I think Solomon already mentioned many of the points that we are looking for. But thinking about the resolution itself, I would like to put a comment here that it's that some years ago, we realized that as coffee sector that we need the help and the support and ideas and inspirations that can come from outside of our bubble.
Right.
Our coffee sector. And having this kind of resolution put in here, as we had last year the approval to have the ICO as a formal observer of the United Nations General Assembly, it's a way to have you all here. I'm sure that you are not all involved in the coffee business here. All the people we have here, and also I know that we are streaming somewhere, and in many moments during this week, we are having the opportunity to talk about coffee, and we are having the opportunities to ask for the people that are outside of our paradigm to help us. They can give us ideas that we didn't think about it before. Because we are so deeply inside, engaged on that. So I think it's the way to invite all the people that takes these billions of cup of coffees every day to think about it. Why we as producers are claiming in many moments that the prices of the coffee were so low. They cannot understand if they don't understand our value chain.
Right.
The challenge that we have in our coffee producing countries, the logistics that we need to address to have the cup of coffee for you here in Manhattan. They are not aware about this. They are not aware about the challenge that Ilika Cafe has to find the best coffees for their blends and to spread these coffees and to distribute these coffees worldwide. We need to have all these people together with us.
Right.
For me, this is a matter of a consumption education and bringing with this in our days with all the social medias, all the artificial intelligence and so on.
Right.
We will have many new ideas to bring and to be together with us. And I'm sure that everybody can help and support us with suggestions after this resolution. I'm sure that many of the countries that we have here, that the people maybe never talked and never thought about coffee, they can start to think about this, and they will give suggestions to us. And all the suggestions will be more than welcome. Right, Andreas? Thank you.
Good to have Andrea with us through this session. Yes, and thank you, Vanessa, for those points. Very passionate appeal.
Yes.
About educating and getting everybody along. Because when we understand the journey of the coffee before it gets into your hand, then we can appreciate and add more value even to it as consumers. And another key point, even within the value chain, from Ghana, whilst I was coming here with a few that I know are growers and partakers in the coffee industry, I had conversations with them, and most of them are looking for buyers for their crops, while some are also interested in the industrialization bit, manufacturing. So there was one that I visited that they have started. They've gotten their plants in and they have started, and it will be the first. But you have no idea. When I spoke to a lot of people about this dialogue, everybody said, do we produce coffee in Ghana?
Yeah. Yes.
Some people had no idea that it's even produced in Ghana. And I said, yes, it is. So indeed, just to buttress your point, Vanessa, we need more education out there. And we have to do this with the media. You know, traditional media, digital media, this has to happen. So thank you very much. As we wrap up, the question that we ask every speaker at the Goals Lounge is, what is your hope? What is hope to you?
Can I answer that?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Everybody is answering.
Yes. On our side, hope, we're excited about the future.
Right.
We're fiercely optimistic. The future in Africa is very bright, especially in the coffee sector. So we're hopeful. Why are we hopeful? One, we have, again, I think the Vice President and others have pointed, we have the youngest population, vibrant, full of energy. So to me, this offers a lot of hope for the future. 1.3 billion Africans on the continent, 1 cup of coffee, we could say per month, $1. That's quite huge.
Yeah.
So I'm very hopeful that there is that huge demographic that we have to take advantage of. And then now we have also the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. This is another opportunity for the continent to have this trade and partnership together. Then why are we hopeful again? We're hopeful because we also have the threat of climate change, what it has done. At times, crises do bring people together.
Okay.
So this is the first time we're having this partnership, really deep partnership with the consuming countries and the producing countries.
Right.
Yeah. So our visions, our interests are sort of kind of getting, aligned. So we're hopeful that now that everybody realizes we can only solve this problem if we're all united on one platform. So the ACT program brings this sort of partnership together. So those things make us very hopeful for the future.
Right. Thank you, Solomon.
That's how I look at it.
Thank you, Solomon. We are all hopeful, aren't we? Yes. Vanessa.
I will be even more emotional now.
Okay.
3 years ago, more or less, 40 years ago, when some colleagues invited me to take this position that I have now as the ED of the International Coffee Organization, I was thinking about my retirement. And I decided to accept this only because I really believe that together we can make the difference for all these producers, for all their families, and for these young people. And this is my hope.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you so much, Solomon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Oh, lovely, lovely. Thank you. Thank you for joining us and sharing these great insights with us. To close this session, I'm pleased to give the floor for a conversation between Frederica Diamanti and Arthur Karuletua of Chobani and Lakombe. Okay. Welcome, Frederica.
Hello.
And the tallest man in the room.
I thought I was the tallest.
Yes, no, you're not. He is. Yes, Arthur. Yes. So welcome. We're just going to wrap up quickly, but we've talked about partnerships. We've talked about the ACT. What we want to know is public-private partnerships. Always go a long way for smooth, efficient, and effective execution of programs. Where do you see this as far as women, youth are concerned and the future of the coffee industry? Start with the lady.
No, I can start if you want.
Frederica, yeah.
Okay, no, thank you so much. And let me start by thanking UN Office for Partnership and UNIDO, and of course, like also the Italian authorities and the Italian private sector for this meeting today. It's a great honor for me to be here. Just to, if you allow me to say 2 words of IFAD, about IFAD, because it makes a lot of sense in this context. It's the only international financial institutions in the world dedicated to the rural development and with an explicit focus on smallholders. And you all said that this is really a business for smallholders. And so IFAD is the perfect partners, like financial partner for the coffee value chain development, and we have a great expertise on coffee. We, as IFAD, like since 2010, we have invested 1 billion in the coffee value chain development. And you mentioned the partnership with the private sector, public-private, but we have in IFAD like a 4Ps actually. So in addition to the private sector, we have the producers. So we have public, private, and the producers in the partnership. And we have been experiencing a significant difference in the market access and the resilience for women, for youth, in the value chains development in general and in the coffee too. So the market access, if you take up an approach which is this 4Ps, can get up to almost 50%. And also the resilience can increase by 50%. And it makes the difference if you don't just work with the governments, but you work with the producers, the smallholders, the aggregation, the cooperatives, and even big partners and the private sector. We have now recently worked with the USIS and Marubeni on coffee, where IFAD is concretely working with the smallholders to train them, to aggregate them. So it's working for the private sector, with the private sector, and treating smallholders as part of the business and not as recipient. So there is a lot of hope, and I think ACT in this sense is the way forward. We are hearing a lot those days, money is not there anymore, ODA is shrinking, private sector needs to step in, but how? ACT, it can be a catalytic changer in the development of the value chain in coffee, and we are already working a lot with UNIDO. We are, I think, and Andrea, I'm looking at you if I say something wrong, but on Tanzania, on Kenya, and I think even in Estonia, for the particularly for the risk assessment and the impact assessment, like developing a framework. So as both as a technical partner and financial partner, we will be engaging in the various pillars of the ACT, and we are very much committed to ACT together.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So Frederica Diamanti is the Associate Vice President for External Relations for the International Finance for Agricultural Development. Indeed, IFAD is critical in this conversation. Yes, Arthur, I believe you have something interesting to share with us towards the end, some announcement?
Yes, towards the end, but I didn't know if you wanted me to speak a little on your first question.
Yes, please.
Around inclusion. Well, I could probably start that answer with your last question to the last panel here around hope. And if I could open the Webster's Dictionary and looked up the word hope, I would hope to find a woman and the youth, because therein lies our hope. And the inclusion of those two is extremely critical in this value chain to be sustained and to thrive. You mentioned, and rightfully so, the youngest population, is thriving on the continent of Africa.
Right.
We're going to need the infrastructure to keep them busy. We're going to need the right projects and partnerships to have the resilience of the backbone of a lot of economies, which is agriculture, in this case coffee, to be steadfast. And we're going to need the kind of partnerships that seek out and include that incredible group of people that essentially is our ray of hope.
Thank you. Now to the announcement.
Well, a little bit about La Colombe. La Colombe was started in 1994 with the vision around understanding where coffee is coming from at a very granular and deep level. And since then, it's been acquired by GHOne, the yogurt company, whose values are also centered around people first. Well, with that combination, I've been fortunate enough to, after 23 years in coffee and commodities, to be part of this dual organization whose focus around people and planet is unquenchable. I've spent 23 years in coffee, not because I enjoy losing my hair, but it's been a labor of love. I come from, I was raised by East Africa as a refugee. And that has been home to me, and I owe it all to my region. And the funny and ironic thing is that in 1994, when La Colombe was getting started, my country was facing a horrific genocide right at the same time. The irony that this is all full circle for me is extremely purposeful and passionate. That said, I've been fortunate enough to design programs around sustainability, climate resilience, traceability platforms in multiple private and public organizations. And to be able to take this work through and into the lens of La Colombe now brings me great joy. And with the leadership giving us the carte blanche to make sure that we get to the granular details of producers and partnerships. So I'm here to announce as the first U.S. roaster that we will be joining the ACT platform.
Drum roll, please. So GHOne is the first producer from the U.S.
GHOne La Colombe. So GHOne is the yogurt company.
Yes.
La Colombe Coffee Workshop is the coffee roasting company. We're based in, headquartered and started in Philadelphia.
Right.
And we're the first roaster that is going to jump in, be it small or mighty that we are.
Good.
In comparison, I think our heart is expressive enough to absorb what the private and public partnerships have been doing thus far. We know the essence and importance of public-private partnerships because akin to coffee, it's such a complex system. It's akin to the human body. We believe that the private sector is the blood that runs through the body, sustaining the organs, which are the public sector. And it's critical that these organs in the public sector give us the capability and capacity to come in and keep the system running.
Thank you so much, Solomon. I'm sorry, Arthur. And thank you so much, for this conversation. We've had a very insightful set of dialogues this morning, and I want to thank every one of you for being here. I leave you with this. I entreat every one of us in this room to become a carrier and a worthy ambassador of coffee and its sustainability. Let us carry with us this message into all the rooms and spaces and countries that we're coming from. And let us do more until the coffee value chain takes its rightful place. Thank you so much.